Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of The Flank. Today I'm joined by some of the best analysis in the business. Give it up for the world champ himself, Christopher Duarte, Parasite. We got the multi-world champion, the multi-champion, a legend and icon to the Call of Duty space, Patrick Price, a.k.a. Iggs. We got the executive producer of The Flank. Give it up for Benjay Nassim. And today we got a special guest in the building. We got the multi-world champ, the multi-champ, another legend to the Call of Duty scene. Give it up for Jkap. What's going on, Cap?
Nothing much, Tom. It's a good guess out of you. Appreciate that.
Of course, brother. You go down in the history books. One of the best to ever do it, man. I know we've been grinding some Rocket League recently, Cap.
Oh, yeah.
We're unbelievable, too. We might have to. We might need to dabble a little bit, Jkap.
Yeah, get Ernie in.
Get Ernie in here. We've been the trio. It's been me, Scrap, and Jkap, but Ernie's been costing a little bit. We'll talk about that later. Ben, what about you, brother? How you been?
I've been good. Been streaming all day. A big Ohio State game going on right now. They just got a pretty nice touchdown at the end of the first half. Other than that, interesting day at COD. Excited to talk about it with the boys.
Yeah, for sure. Pat, you're looking good over there. Webcam's looking nice. How you doing?
Good, man. Good. Just kind of chilling. Nice little New Year break for everybody. I know I saw everybody on Twitter roasting Treyarch because they obviously are on their Christmas, New Year break, but I was enjoying mine. So, yeah.
Hell yeah, bro. Wait, is this the first flank of 2025 or did we do one in 2025?
No, it's the first one.
This is the first one. This is the first flank of 2025. Can I get some W's in here, ladies and gentlemen? First flank of 2025. What a pleasure. Duarte, what's going on with you, brother?
Good. Can't complain. Getting over the flu. Flu season hit. That shit's been hell. But outside of that, had a good holiday break. Went to a festival. That's how I got the flu. But yeah, now I'm just back to trying to grind some COD. Hopefully these updates start getting pushed, because the state of the game hasn't been the best, but at least the CDL's back. Today was a pretty entertaining day of COD.
When was the last time? When was the last time we got a Call of Duty update?
Like a big one?
Yeah, like a big one, like
before the holidays, bro. It's been a while.
I mean, we could use some new maps. I think we can all agree some new maps would be great. I mean, it would be really nice to maybe get some. I mean, they should just bring back some old maps. We talked about this before. We don't need to talk about it, but hopefully there's an update soon. Don't know what the hell they've been doing. But hopefully we could get some change. What about the hackers, Chris? Has the hackers been better?
Nah, I think they've gotten even worse. They've gotten more bold. They just hack on anyone now. It's bad.
I'll be honest with you. Some of the Warzone guys have been hitting me up, like Repulse. I was talking to Repulse. I was talking to Joe Woe. Joe Woe's been playing in my subscriber age challenges and shit. They say Warzone's like unplayable. Like they don't even want to play it anymore. Like it's that bad. Which after seeing some streams, Warzone might be worse than multiplayer. Actually might be worse.
Well, they have like a big shadow ban problem in Warzone right now, where these pros are being shadow banned, getting unbanned, and getting shadow banned like 2 days later. So yeah, I mean, no wonder Marvel Rivals right now is the most played game on Steam. Like virtually everyone is kind of who wants to try their game has hopped on that title and has been having fun compared to just the absolute hacker fest that's on COD right now.
Nate Shot's been on Marvel. Scump's been on Marvel. What do you guys think about Marvel? I've dabbled. I've dabbled in Marvel Rivals. It's a lot of fun. But what do you guys think about it in terms of like a competitive game? Because they made it around competitive, didn't they? It's a competitive shooter. I mean,
it's a hero shooter. It's like Overwatch.
I mean, yeah, I was gonna say it's definitely an Overwatch competitor. I mean, to me, it's Overwatch in first person with heroes that you know and love for Marvel,
third person,
right?
Third person.
Sorry. So I mean, yeah, it's kind of like. I mean, I think it's a good recipe for success. I mean, I think they hit their new all-time high today.
Oh, wow.
600K on Steam.
Yeah. So
holy hell.
We'll see. I mean, they've retained players really well so far, so it'll see how it keeps going.
They should. Are they making it into an esport? Is that turning like into a competitive? Because I know there's team scrimming. Right? There's team scrimming.
There's combos. I think they did an invitational during the holiday.
They will. They have tournaments in game sometimes.
Yeah.
I have a friend that I met through X Defiant. He plays like Rogue Company and other games. His name's like Delana, and he plays like other games. And he was really good at X Defiant, but he was playing Marvel Rivals like way back in a couple betas. He won like a tournament, and then like I think the most recent tournament they had in game, he won that as well.
I think Pat hit what I think is the best point about the game. Like it doesn't do that much different from Overwatch, but when Overwatch struggled to add new content, new maps, new characters, they have almost infinite choices of intellectual property on the Marvel side they can pull from players to from heroes to costumes to maps. And like I just think the consistent new content in that game is going to keep people playing at least for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, there is some desync stuff and like some like lag stuff that I've noticed, and like with the first person stuff that Pat mentions, like you do for the third person thing, you got to kind of aim to the right a little bit, which causes some issues with certain characters, but it's very fun. Very hard to play solo, but fun with the squad.
Yeah,
I'm more surprised by the amount of COD lunch that they're eating, right? Like they've gotten basically every big COD creator on that game right now. It's not necessarily just an Overwatch competitor. It's really taking a share out of COD.
I'm not gonna lie, it's just
Nobody's
outside
on
of
COD.
outside of like CS and Valorant, like those two games have their like big communities, but like that game is taking away players from everything, and with COD just being in such a dire state, and there not really being any other competition outside of like those long staples like CS and Valorant, and like what else is there? Delta Force, like there's just no really other game to play. Like, you know what I mean,
I think all
just
streamers, just any shooter, player, streamer, whatever, they're all gravitating toward Marvel Rivals right now.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I see everybody on it, and it's cool because I wonder what Overwatch is thinking right now, because it is the ultimate Overwatch killer. If it wasn't, I know Overwatch was already kind of, falling apart a little bit over there, but now especially with this, I mean, I don't expect to see Overwatch too much longer. I feel like Marvel's kind of taking that space. I'm sure Overwatch players switched. Did any of them like are they grinding Marvels like some of the Overwatch guys? I'm sure they are.
Yeah,
A lot of switch, but obviously OWCS starts up again like pretty soon, so a lot of them will probably come back to Overwatch and get on their teams.
But what does the Overwatch like? What are they doing now? Like ever since they like the franchise stuff stopped, like what is their? How much do they have going for them on the competitive side?
I mean,
have no idea.
they switched to more of like an open ecosystem, but all the events are not in NA this year. They're all in either Europe or they're in Asia. So it's a bit of a weird comp scene right now. Like virtually North American side just basically dead.
In theory, I mean, if Marvel Rivals came out with like a pretty flushed out competitive scene, they would probably take a majority of people away. I would think
they would 100%.
Mm-hmm.
I would expect probably. I mean, NetEase this is the first big like multiplayer title NetEase is done. So like, there's not a lot of evidence here. You know what I'm saying on the esports side for them. I mean, I assume we'll probably see them at like a DreamHack or an IEM, probably like spring, summer. I'll be curious to see like if it really grows. Is this something that EWC wants to add? Yeah, the game's got a lot of potential.
Those guys host tournaments like ASAP and start throwing out drops while the game is like has momentum. Like that shit's gonna blow up.
Bro, timing is everything, and like sometimes I feel like people who create these games don't realize that. Like I agree, Chris. Like if they, with all the hype around it now, they should start thinking about getting into it like as soon as possible before it gets like dies out and gets boring or whatever. Because once you start adding competitive into it, it'll just make the game way better. And I know a lot of people have been scrimming too. I see it. I see it on socials, like people scrimming, people forming teams and shit. But let's move on. Let's talk COD. A few updates before we hop into the matches. It's been a little minute, so just a few updates for you guys. One update leads to the GAs. Apparently, there was a change in GAs. Single tap apparently is allowed now in the CDL, and I think that pretty much led to players using single tap and breaking that GA, and I think people were picking up on it, and people just kind of lost composure and said, you know what, we're gonna break it. Everybody's breaking it, so now everybody's just back on single tap. Is that true? Is everybody back on single tap?
Yeah.
Loud, yeah.
Yeah, honestly though, it's about time. I think that shit's just been like an out of date thing that people need to just come to terms that we're just like, we need to just like shift away from this whole GAing, like sprinting. Like it's just stupid as fuck, realistically. But at the same time, a player sentiment that I've noticed is it doesn't seem like that shit was voted on, and people kind of just were like, fuck it, use it. When it comes down to it, I could be wrong, but that's kind of what I've been seeing. And it's weird because I feel like they voted on everything else, and then this is just kind of just in. When it's just like unfair when it comes to like the voting of everything. You know what I mean? You see what I'm saying? Like, I feel like they should vote for everything, not just selective shit.
One of those things though, you just can't enforce it. So it's just like, I think they just, I think whoever was, I don't know who was for it or against it, but I think whoever was against it just gave up. Like,
for sure.
Can't fight it to a certain extent.
I mean, to what you were alluding to last year, there were a lot of controversies with teams that people think were silently running single tap, denying it. There were clips like, I think it just got to a point where teams are like, what's the point here? Because like, you just can't really enforce the GA. How do you know if someone's running it? You can't lock down the setting. Like the battle is over at that point.
No, it's far worse in this game. Like it's just way easy to like not know. And especially because not only like single tap right? But all those like sprint restore, slide maintain sprint, all those other extra settings that they've added to the game, they pretty much carry over your sprinting when you do multiple actions. So it looks like you're running it even if you aren't. So that's why they're just like, they don't really know how to enforce it, because unless you turn off like every sprint assist setting, sprint restore setting and stuff like that, you're just going to make the game feel like ass for everybody, but there's going to be like no way to tell. Like, yeah, I mean, if they don't do that. So I think they just gave up.
Yeah, I mean, Slasher literally said in the chat, he said, I gave up, literally, word for word. And he said people have been cheating, quote unquote. So, you know, lit a coat. He's pissed off, but I'm glad. I feel like even just in terms of like hands and controllers, it's just better for everybody. And listen, bro, even with everybody running single tap, bro, they all look the same to me. I don't see anybody move. I don't see everybody moving like Shotzi, which is what the argument was, that everybody's just gonna be able to fucking have the best movement in the world. That's not what I'm seeing. And hopefully snipers are next. Hopefully. Because I think we can all agree that we can use a little oomph in the game. We can use some snipes.
You're coping on that one, Tom. Not gonna lie.
What, the snipes?
That's just never coming back, bro.
It's so
I mean, dude,
unless they physically just remove aim assist from snipers and then take away all the attachments, then you will never see a sniper in comp again, as long as it's up to the players.
I mean, I agree.
And I think it's stupid, but
I agree.
That's just.
I thought somebody. I was waiting for somebody to just be like, "Fuck it, I'm just pulling it out." Like, you know, we're not following that GA. We're pulling it out, and then, you know, somebody can just big dig it. I saw Paul X tweet something. I forgot what he was tweeting about, but I remember he tweeted like, "I'm using everything because people are cheating, so I'm just gonna use it all." But that didn't last.
He was
long.
the one that was talking about how like they didn't even vote in single tap, but they GA'd everything else, like the SOG and all that shit, and they liked using that stuff. So he just thinks it's unfair how they like let something in. And they just selectively, remove other things.
Wow, Chris, you're shocked that the inmates don't know how to run the asylum correctly. Color me surprised.
That's a good one, Benjay.
Thank you.
Was that right? It's not your best, but it was okay.
I mean, but you get my point, though. It's like I like the guys can barely run the voting process. Obviously, when this, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, they can barely operate any procedure going on in their whole ecosystem. So I'm not surprised that's how it went down.
And then another topic of discussion. I don't know if a lot of you guys saw Hector come on the stream. Obviously, Shotzi went on. He's been on a rampage, to be honest, the last 3 days.
Really has.
Shotzi has been tweeting, talking shit to people, shooting people's bodies, calling people dog shit. He's been trying to stream scrims. That led to a whole big thing. What do you think? What do you guys think about the whole streaming scrims debacle? Cap, I'm curious what you think. And Pat, like some of you, what do you guys think about this streaming scrims at this point in time, right? And where Call of Duty is. What do you feel?
Yeah.
How do you feel about it?
As a player back then, I would have never, once it got to the point where the norm was to not stream scrims, because way back in the day we did, but I would have never agreed as a player. But now I'm at a point where, now that I'm neutral and I'm just a fan, basically, I think we need scrim stream to save the fucking esport.
Yeah,
I think it's just, I don't know. Maybe I'm still too pessimistic on it. Maybe it has recovered a little bit, but I think it's still heading in a bad direction. And I think that's just an easy way to get fans interested, get more fans for yourself, build your audience as a player. It's just free content, right? And I think bigger picture that helps yourself, helps the esport, and I think it's desperately needed now more than ever.
I've said this before, but the fact that pros are willing to let the game viewership just fall off throughout select times of the day because there's just absolutely zero content, zero anything going on within our scene is just such a shame, because there's potential out there for the people. There's opportunity out there for the people that are willing to take it. Shotzi, granted, he's already a big name. He even said it. He doesn't need this shit. Him turning his stream on extra hours in the day isn't gonna do anything. It's gonna, yeah, sure, it's gonna be positive, but is it really gonna matter for him? No. So all these people that are sitting there trying to be oh yeah, of course he wants to do it. He's an OpTic, that's just such a dumb reasoning. But on the Shotzi side, bro, I think he's just kind of fed up. I think he kind of knows the position he's in, and he knows that he's good for forever. And I just don't think he wants to the esport to die again, bro. He pretty much went through this. Granted, Halo's not completely dead, but he kind of already went through this shit with Halo, if you think about it.
He came to God.
Yeah,
Well, yeah, I
especially-
mean,
yeah,
bro,
exactly.
no active pro player would want the esport to die. That's what's paying them.
Yeah, but the thing
Money.
is though, some
not
of the
really
pros,
All right,
some of-
taking the action to.
some of the pros are so
it.
like bent on the
Dude,
fact that
we've been
they
in so many of these cycles though. It's the same thing, bro. This has happened before. Anytime COD gets in like a really down state, it always goes to streaming scrims. Like crap. I mean,
I think it
even
goes
from
down
a
to
player
more.
side, bro. Like, no, scrims should not be streamed. But the problem is, where Call of Duty's at is everyone is so desperate for any stint of growth in this scene that is the first thing that happens, right? Because those are the players who are active 6-7 hours. I don't know how long players scrim now, but that's like the easy thing. But the reality is, it's just the scene is dying. Like the interest in the scene is going down. So automatically,
how do you revive it though?
I mean, bro, we've been around this so many times. It has nothing to do with streaming scrims.
It could
There's
help.
lack of
though.
interest. There's lack of interest in the players. The players who are in
Okay,
the league now don't have brands.
How do they build a brand, Pat?
But they don't, Cap. That's my point.
No, I personally
yes,
think
how? Yes, how?
It doesn't just automatically build like that. There was a peak of interest in COD where the players who were involved at the time when COD had its explosive growth were involved. Now that those players are falling out of the league, the interest overall in competitive Call of Duty has just decreased. It's just not there. Yeah, I think I heard a clip from Joe Woe. He literally said there are some players who don't even care about competitive COD and don't even know it's a thing because Warzone is the interest. Back then, 10 years ago, multiplayer Call of Duty was very cool. It was the peak interest. It's just not anymore. Players streaming scrims is not going to change the fact that there is a severe slump in multiplayer Call of Duty interest. It's just how it is.
I think to a degree, you definitely what you're saying has some merit, but I'm going to give you an example that proves everything that you've said. Not everything you said, but a lot of what you said is wrong. And it stems back to even like Shotzi or even when Scump used to play, right? Whatever Scump would turn off his stream, where did those viewers go, right? They didn't go to other players, right? Because they were invested in Scump, right? Same thing with Colt. Colt's huge now. He built himself up. When Colt gets offline, maybe a fraction of his viewers go to other people, but no, they're fans of Colt. Why? Because he put himself out there and built his brand up. Same thing with Shotzi. When Shotzi get off, it's the same thing. These players built their following. And in turn, when they built their following, people tune in to COD to watch them. Like, to say that you can't grow the scene by building yourself a brand is completely wrong.
I absolutely hate these examples, bro. Yes, Colt is popping right now. He plays 12 hours a day. He's the #1 ranked streamer. But there are 50 other people who did the exact same thing that didn't blow up. Like, I hate when you just single out one success story and act like that is the norm. This logic, but the thing is, either way, this logic that anyone who streams and puts themselves out there and creates content is going to be successful. That is delusional. And
no one's saying that you're going
to that had that opportunity do not prove
no one is saying that they're going to for sure, but you're giving yourself an opportunity. Basically, if you're not willing
if you don't play the lottery, you don't have the opportunity, but that doesn't mean you're going to win.
If you don't put in the work, bro, you're not going to actually fucking succeed. Even me as a creator, I don't put in the same. Granted, I put in hours on stream. I don't put in the extra hours to upload to other things and stuff like that, and that's why my growth is stagnated. But like you see all these other players that are putting in the extra work, like Colt, for example, they blow up and they get their fan base. If these other players did that, I'm not saying everyone's going to be successful, but to say that none of these other players are going to even be able to generate half of the success, even if it's
stream
small.
8 hours a day every day outside of this stuff.
Because streaming is not it.
8 viewers.
Because streaming is not how you grow. Just turning the stream on is not how you grow,
bro. Just because you create content does not mean you're going to be successful.
Okay,
I hate that logic.
It's a saturated ass market now more than ever. But Pat, let's back up. Bro. What is if the esports dying, like you said, and a way to bring it back is for players to grow a brand? What is your solution?
I don't think there is one. That was my take.
Okay, let's blow it up then. Yeah, let's just blow it up.
I don't think we're constantly chasing this growth trajectory
so why not
to get back to where it was.
Why not try?
I'm not saying people can't. But
I'm going to use.
You just said to start this whole argument that scrims shouldn't be streamed ever.
No, I'm saying as a player, it shouldn't. No esport does. No esport stream scrim.
What about Halo? What about
well, here's the thing. We need to stop comparing ourselves.
A bunch of dead
One at a
we-
time. One at a time.
We need to stop
Apex is
comparing
not a dead esport.
we need to stop
Apex is
comparing we need to stop comparing our esport to others, bro. Like we are just so different. Like our game modes are different. Everything about our scene is different that we need to stop comparing it. It's the same thing when we try to compare esports to sports. Like we need to stop making these comparisons and really look deep into like our history as an esport, our history as a game, and like see what like made it to what it is today, and that's where we start. But also, I'm going to go ahead and use your game as a example here. Listen, let me finish.
2014.
Let me finish. I'm going to use your
Chris
game
talk.
as an example when it comes to posting content, and I'm not saying just turning on the stream, because turning on the stream is not how you're going to grow. When me and Apathy, I'm going to use Apathy as an example because he was a good one here. We used to stream your game, Pat, and we used to both have like a lot of viewers with drops and all that stuff. I had the most viewers at one point, and then guess what? Apathy started to surpass me in viewership in your game. Do you want to know why? Apathy was constantly uploading YouTube videos, and if you go to his YouTube channel and look at his X Defiant videos, as you know, when that game was popular, his viewers were like way bigger on YouTube. So guess what? Those YouTube views, they pollinated his Twitch stream, and that's
what are you arguing? It was brand new title that had a ton of interest. Of course,
it's the same
thing that's involved in the fucking game is going to garner interest.
I'm not saying turn on the stream and like that's how you're going to grow the scene. That's not the only thing that it takes.
Call of Duty is not new. Call of Duty competitive is not new. This isn't some new thing where players are streaming. There's just all
streaming
this
is such a small part of it. You don't even
the
understand,
problem is
bro.
There's no interest. I don't know how we aren't seeing this.
You got to the players
down.
Yes, but the players can help create interest, bro.
The
People are
interest is
going
down
to tune
based
in.
on what metric, Pat?
Bro. If fucking Paul
I can
X
see
goes
both
and
of y'all's
streams
points,
his
to be
Scrim
honest.
right now, he's not gonna just blow up.
No one
Okay,
is
okay,
saying
hold
that
on,
he needs to
back
just
up,
turn
back
his
up.
stream on, bro.
From.
Back up. Based on what interest you think Call of Duty competitive is dying?
I just think it's at an all-time low in interest.
Based on what metrics? So just feelings. is
My
what you're saying.
personal opinion.
I've said
Okay.
this before. I've said this before, but it's not just streaming,
I've been
bro.
here for 20 years.
It's not just streaming. Yes, okay. The Call of Duty, the Call of Duty,
every fucking
the
step.
Call of Duty League and Call of Duty can definitely do a bigger and better job of marketing their players and their league and all that stuff. And that would
they won't even get a subsidy for a challengers event. They don't care anymore.
I know.
Yeah, that was the next topic.
I know.
100%. 95% of their esport team.
I'm saying they can.
Activision does not care about esports like they used to.
I'm saying
Like,
I'm not saying they
I don't
do.
understand.
I'm saying they can hypothetically do more to like blow up their league and like garner interest. But when it's not up to that, when they're not doing it and the players aren't doing it, the players can't just only go and blame Activision or blame COD if the players aren't also doing something about it. For example, like granted, there's not a lot of opportunities, but every single event that these players go to, all of the drama that comes into the COD scene, anything that these players go through.
There isn't drama anymore.
Listen, let me finish.
Shotzi is making shit up and tweeting, trying to make drama.
Anytime these players
don't
pop
have the
off,
same personalities. There's
anytime
not
these
any
players
drama
pop off,
anymore. There's
anytime
no
these players pop
rivalries.
off or do anything good
Everyone
in the
has
league,
to be friends in this league because they have to
You're
have an
just
opportunity on their
interrupting
next
me.
team. It's
But
not the same.
Anytime these players do anything like insane in their matches, blah, 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 all these players, they squander the opportunity. They don't even make it. They don't try to monetize it. They don't try to make it into content. They don't try to make it into something that's going to last, that's going to generate interest. So like, yes, Activision and COD can do more, but can the players do fucking more?
Everybody
yes, they
can be
fucking
doing more.
can.
I think everybody
that
can
shit
be
is
doing more.
delusional. And I'm not saying just turning on a stream, because streams for the most part, they come and go, right? The VOD just gets lost in Twitch. But when it comes to like YouTube, especially nowadays with the way content is now, shorts, TikTok, all that shit is literally, that shit fucking drives growth into your streams, into your personality, into your brand. Look at these people with TikTok and shorts and stuff like that. Like, bro, their fucking content, the views they get is fucking insane. And those people, that they pollinate their streams with those viewers. A lot of streamers blew up because of TikTok shorts or TikToks and shorts. It's a fucking fact. Like
I literally feel like we're like, Chris, you're talking like an Oregoner right now. Everyone wants the next simp. Everyone wants the next Abizi. Bro,
there's a two-way street, bro.
So
we gotta stop being closed-minded.
Some people are going to be successful. If 5,000 people attempt something, yes, a handful of them are going to be successful. That is not the reality for every single person.
No, of course.
And pretending like it is
There
just
are
because
people-
of hard work and dedication is
No
delusional.
one said that. No one said
Bro,
that. Everyone.
Exnid World Star today in that one map. If he turns his stream on and creates content, he's not just gonna blow up.
Exit already
I think
has
it's like
He's been
500
streaming.
viewers.
Yeah, he's been streaming.
But I'm saying one person going off and having a moment and then going and creating content is not going to overnight success them. And
Bro,
even not even overnight.
Bro, but
the
your
next few months, they're
mentality,
not going to be the next Chauncey.
your mentality just makes it seem like everyone should just give up.
Chris, stop,
Everyone should just give up.
I'm not saying people should give up. I just think there's a time limit on this current.
All right, hold on, real quick, Ben. Before you go,
go ahead, Tom.
I was just gonna say real quick. Make sure we're talking one at a time. Ben, I'll let you go, but let's move on from this topic. All right, one more minute. Go ahead.
Yeah,
man.
I was just saying that Ant responded to you and said like, I'm not going to just give up. So I just want to give that point to you, Pat. Like from his POV, I think that part doesn't matter. Like he's still going to try. You know,
obviously he's making millions of dollars. Of course, why would he not? Absolutely. But no one's going to just automatically replicate what he's doing. Of course, Shotzi shouldn't give up. The guy's making millions of dollars. No shit.
My personal opinion, before we move on, like I can understand both points, right? From a competitive perspective, like you don't want to share like your scrims, like you don't want to show what you're doing. I just think at the state of COD right now, I just think it would help everybody if everybody was just a little bit more involved. I think everybody can be doing more, whether it's the developers or the players, just everything. It's everything's just kind of happening all at once, and that's why we kind of see like this decline throughout COD. Like I personally. I think we need more content personally. Like I think we need more content, more.
Not
like,
even just streaming.
Well, one thing I do disagree with, Paz, you said like the storylines, everybody's friends now. I actually think we have storylines there. I don't think a lot of these guys like each other. I think
outside of Draza and Scrappy, what is the where?
Well, I think most of the drama is with like the top teams, to be honest. But I mean, I think we will see and get more storylines if people were more involved. If people were like more involved, there was more stuff going on. Like I think more storylines, people would see more. There would just be more happening. We need more. We need more to happen.
If a player, for example, like popped off versus like a team or the right person and posted a YouTube video about it, then fucking popping off on them talking shit, you know somebody's gonna get salty about getting posted on YouTube or something like that. And then all of a sudden, it doesn't matter, bro. Listen, any sort of growth, any sort of like stuff like that, it all matters, bro. Yes, we can sit here and blame the devs or not the devs, but Activision all we want, the CDO all we want, but when the players won't even take it upon themselves to do the fucking bare minimum, like, can you really sit there and complain? No, bro. You can't just give up.
All right, well, let's move on. Let's move on from this conversation. Next topic on the board is no challengers event. You had Hector come out. He said, I know you guys already mentioned it, but I do want to talk about it. What's going on with that? Because I don't understand how many
challenges. The same combo we just had.
Well, I mean, we're talking more. I mean, yeah, it does lead back to the same convo because, again, we should be doing more. So it leads back to the same convo. But I do want to explain to people what's going on. And I know, Ben, you could probably explain this best. I'll let you have the floor here. But what was Hector basically saying with the subsidy? And I know Falcons came in. They had made some comments about it. Why don't you tell people what's going on, Ben, for people that don't know?
Yeah, so it was like on Wednesday, we're having that big convo in Discord, and Hector came in, we're talking about a bunch of stuff, and then he kind of mentioned out of the blue that on the OpTic pod, he read it, or was, an OpTic pod they recorded and wasn't out yet. They read an email that the league wasn't going to provide them an additional subsidy. I believe was the word he used, I think additional subsidy to cover the cost of challengers, which obviously a little disappointing. In past years, they have provided subsidy for teams to afford some of the cost of challengers, prize pool, the production, etc. And then the next...
Can I interrupt quick?
Yeah, go ahead, Cap.
Because from my understanding, is the league gives every team who hosts an event the same amount of money, and it's up to the team to determine how they use that money. So I don't know what exactly happened in this OpTic situation, that they decided they need more money to run challengers, but from my understanding of how it all goes down,
you're saying they give them a challengers,
they're not going to do it.
Saying the league gives them a challenger specific subsidies, what you're saying?
No, they give them money to run a certain amount of money to run the event.
They could have also just gave them less.
Well, there's a lot of other stuff you got to fucking pay for.
Determine how to use that money.
Yeah, there's a lot of other stuff you got to pay for. You got to pay for the venue. You got to pay for labor, equipment.
Probably just gave them less money.
Like rigging, like lighting. But like in some
it costs a lot to run an event.
In some past years, and again, I don't know if it's the case this year. If someone knows, they can respond in the comments, whatever. They have given teams an additional subsidy or cover the cost for some of the portions of Challengers prize pool, Challengers production. So I just, that's what Hector had said on the combo. The interesting part in this is obviously there's no Challengers event in Madrid, so no Challengers event in Dallas. That means the first two events don't have Challengers. But of an interesting,
that sucks.
But an interesting post the next morning from M. Dossere. So if anyone knows who M. Doss is, probably like GOAT FIFA player. Before COVID, and he's actually the chairman of Falcons Esports. He responded and said, like, I don't know if OpTic's down, but we're happy to come in and help out and cover all the operational costs so that there could be a challengers event, at the Dallas Major too. So no like public updates since then. I'm going to try and ask around and see if, maybe they sat down or maybe they're going to sit down next week and kind of figure it out. But hopefully, like between OpTic, Falcons, and the league, they can figure this one out. Because your point, Tom, like if Miami is the first time we have a challengers event in like fucking March or in like April,
that's crazy.
Like that's pathetic.
That's the thing, though. If OpTic isn't going to host one, like you can almost imagine that no other team is going to host one.
Hector wants when Hector's doing business, he wants everybody to do their 50%. That's what he talked about, right? So like if the subsidy's not adding up and it costs a lot of money and they're covering like 80% of the cost or 90% of the cost or however much it costs, I don't know the numbers. I know, Ben, you were asking for numbers, but I mean, Hector's not going to give us numbers. We're not going to hear this shit. In a business world, like there has to be a balance if you're partners. And if that balance isn't there, it's the principle. I mean, that's probably why like we're here now. And that's probably why there's not a Challengers Cup. And I think it's ridiculous that we don't have a Challengers. I mean, I have a Challengers team, right? I mean, we were so hyped for the year. Like, we were ready to send them out, like, get it going. Like, we were hyped to watch these guys play, and now we won't even see them play on land for a little while because there's nothing happening. The only thing that's happening right now is the online elite, which we're 4-0 in, by the way. Shout out to the FC Stallions, absolutely. But it's just not going to happen. And I actually do respect the Falcons for stepping up and trying to help, but I think it's the principle. I think it's the principle of it, and I think that's why they're holding strong on it. But anybody else got anything to stand out before we move on to the matches? We got 4 matches to cover, so we should probably move on.
Yeah, we'll check up on that.
We're in a time where things are a business now, and if they don't make business sense, they aren't going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
That's just the reality of it, bro.
That's business.
Free money is not just going around.
Yeah,
I agree with
that. Challengers events are not good business.
It's just doing a favor to the scene. Yeah.
I will say additional context. The venue that OpTic is going into this event doesn't necessarily have the concourse space or like another, like within the actual venue itself, like they don't have like space to fit a challengers event. There's an attached ice rink, even the ice rink that I guess they can do it at. But I think like logistically, there are some challenges in that venue that might be complicating this a little bit.
Shotzi, most teams study breakoffs more than playing efficient. Fucking idiots. This guy's on a rampage, man. This guy's Shotzi,
I agree
man.
with that.
You agree with this, Cap? I agree with it too, probably. I mean, I feel like a lot of these guys don't even. I don't know what the hell they're doing. You can tell that some of these teams are.
I don't know when that happened, but I swear there's been this shift.
I've said it. I know exactly when it happened.
Players, like teams and coaching staffs, and everyone just like are so obsessed with teams' breakoffs. I'm just like, breakoffs are like
Austin said it.
The least important, not the least important thing because you do want to start the map good, but like, bro, you just start the map, you get in a gunfight, like, it just happens.
Yeah.
Like, it's just, I don't know. It's not that important. But teams are obsessed with it.
They're just obsessed with just momentum, bro. They just want to win the breakoffs. They get the preferred setup and just kind of play ahead from there. But to your point, Cap, like, the flow and like efficiency and working on other stuff might be more important once you get past the first 30 seconds of the map.
Yeah, it's a 10 to 12 minute map normally in hardpoint.
But it's the same shit. Everyone just
first 20 seconds is a very, very, very small part of the
all
game.
these teams are studying each other's breakoffs just to spawn in and be like, all right, what breakoff do we think they're gonna do? And then like they're basically just gambling.
Yeah.
And then everything else
can also
doesn't
change
matter.
their breaks. People can also change their breaks and do different shit off the breakoffs.
They don't know anything else.
Well, to Ant's point, like, and I think part of the reason he's tweeting this, like, I was watching JP stream this week when they were streaming scrims, and teams were making JP put his face cam over the map and cockcaster for the first like 30 seconds and then move it so they didn't leak.
That's insane. That's insane. That's
It's
crazy.
actually like such a weird compromise.
They're
like,
just overthinking it so much. They really are. You could still see whether you're covering the minimap or not. If you're covering the minimap, you can still see where people are doing. It's the same shit in search and I watch challenger teams cover your minimap. Why the fuck is everybody? I mean, my own challenger team does it too. They all do it. I don't know why they do it. I don't
search. Yeah,
everyone thinks they're the genius.
Yeah,
The thing is, though,
thinks they got the biggest brain. So
the thing that blows my mind though is like when it comes to this like whole like breakoff thing. Dude, I don't know about y'all, but we used to have tournament breakoffs, and then we used to just have our scrim breakoffs or just day one breakoffs and scrims because like yeah, you might be able to like practice a break off here and there against certain teams that maybe you would use in a tournament. But then once you like kind of like practiced it once, you just put it in the pocket, right? But then when it comes to scrims, like you just do the most generic shit.
Yeah.
And then after that, you just play the game and that's like your practice. Do people not do this shit anymore? Do people actually use their tournament breakoffs in fucking scrims?
I don't know if it's like tournament breakoffs. I just think sometimes you want to try something like more risky. I don't know.
Yeah, but go do that against a challenger team or something, or do it against it against another team that what are we doing
in matches,
here?
more often than not, I feel like as a player, my breakoffs would be like just a very default thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
yeah,
you just, I don't know. Like I said, like every breakoff is like just a 50-50. You just happen to win that set of kills or you don't. It's not like some chess match where like you need this super secret strategy.
Yeah, well, let's move on to the matches. Today we had the first CDL minor tournament. It's minor 1. This is a single elimination tournament. I think you got to win 2 matches to get points, right, Ben? That's what you told me before. You got to win 2 matches to get points. You know how many points you get?
10 for third, fourth, 20 for second, 30 for first.
Okay, all right. So this was the first series of the day of the CDL minor 1. And we had Minnesota ROKKR going up against the Los Angeles Guerrillas Gentlemates. Jesus Christ. And this one ended up in a 3-2 victory for Minnesota. Goes all the way down to a last map. We got a reverse sweep here in the first series of the day. Let's go down and take a look at the stat sheet. Nearly a red carpet for LAG. It was Linz who, with the 1.09, that was saving him from that. But then on the other side, you had a 1.22 from Gio, a 1.10 from Nero. He continues to shine. SJO with a 1.3. Paulie, he was negative with a 0.96, but he had over 10,000 damage, so Paul was doing what he had to do. And then on the other side, it was just looking real rough, man. I mean, you had P-Dog with a 0.73. He's been really struggling in the slaying department. Bulldog with a 0.87 today. He's kind of been that guy for them, and he struggled a little bit today. Skies with a 0.97. He had the most damage on the squad. We got the MVP, Gio, here. At the bottom of the screen. It was a good bounce back from Minnesota here on the reverse sweep. I thought LAG was going to run away with it and get that dub, but it started with the protocol control when Minnesota came in and just played bully ball. Won that pretty quickly. Same with that last map. Seemed like the second half of the series, they really kicked up. Jkap, we'll start with you. Are you surprised by LAG right now? And it just looks like they're having a hard time closing maps, Cap. What do you think?
Can't win a game 5, man.
They can't. I don't know what's going on.
Is it all 5 matches now that they've lost game 5?
They have lost so many game 5s. I don't know the exact number, but
I think it's all 5 matches they play have been game 5 losses. If I remember talking
that
about
is
before.
insane.
But either way, I don't know. This team, their strength was supposed to be like experience and like having good teamwork and a good system, and then we're hearing in scrims that Kenny's typing in the chat. They're not going to the hill. They're kill whoring. They're like, and they're just getting.
Wasn't this New York team accused of doing that the same thing last year? Like, just
Yeah.
I will throw a little bit of a hand grenade in here, and Tom can back me up on this. We heard a lot of chatter at the Minnesota camp that, like, by the middle of the season, that Linz kind of, from a playmaking standpoint, was kind of hating his team, kind of, to your point, like kill whoring a bit, and it was never really either properly addressed by him. And that was my concern with him kind of going into this situation with this team. Tom, you would have heard the same thing I had heard, correct, on this?
I believe I did, yeah.
Yes. And so I was worried about him in this team because, like, well, they wanted to be Shotzzy. So it's like, okay, well, I kind of see it. But I watched him play, and, like, it seems like he's on a different page from the page that Preston's on, from the page that Kids is on, and Skies plays super slow. Their hard point looks really, really awkward. And it's not helping the fact that, they've lost 3 game 5s. 2 of the series did end in 4, but they've been on a massive S&D slide now for a minute. And, like, I don't know. I mean, Preston's got to play better individually.
I'm not gonna sit here and blame Linz. I'm not gonna sit here and blame Linz.
Fair,
Yeah, I wouldn't blame Linz either. I feel like Linz is trying to do it all.
They won the first hard point, and he fried the second hard point before the lag out. They were up by like 1 million, and then Minnesota just started to come back into the game, and then they do the replay, and then Minnesota keeps their momentum. Like, and we're not blaming Linz here. If anything, like, bro, Priesta, it's been the same story with him for the last like couple of teams he's been on, and he's also been on a losing streak in the league. Yeah, he's a storied player. He's been on some successful teams, but like he he's not on that type of team anymore where he can afford to slack. Like he needs to play better individually. Otherwise, these respawns, especially against better teams, are going to continue to be this downward spiral. And in terms of their S&D, these guys are just not on the same page when it comes to search. Like period. And I said that literally going back to their first couple of matches. It just seems like they have no idea how they want to like retake together, and they're always like spread. These guys are they don't play together.
I don't think they have enough slaying power. I'll be the one to say it.
That too.
I just don't think they have enough slaying power on their team. I mean, Pat, I want to get your opinions on it. What do you think about the roster? I think their slaying power definitely takes a hit.
I mean, I've said it, bro. Priesta, I like him a lot. He has sucked for 2 years. Like, I don't know what it is. I mean, he may have just an absolutely rock solid relationship with people in the league, and they believe in him, but he has not performed in like 2 years. And so, no matter what we talk about with this team, he has been a severe underperformer in the last two teams, both with good players and without. They're not going anywhere until they're able to overcome that, and you don't overcome that by just hoping he gets better.
My problem is I think they're in a two-change situation. I think if your response to the way they're playing right now is just to drop Preston, I just don't think it's going to address more systemic slaying issues with this team. So I don't know what they're going to do. I mean, there's a lot of French players right now. They're working their way through EU Elite. I don't know if they got their eyes on any of them, but even then, if you sign one of those players, you got a kind of visa lag time. I don't know as much they can do to address the situation before Madrid, unfortunately.
I think we won't see anything till after Madrid. We'll see changes after Madrid.
Put his head down and grind and try to get his confidence back, or like you guys are saying, like he's at that spot where I'm not hoping for this because I like Preston. I do like this is genuine advice because basically the spot I was in when I ended up retiring. But like his career is going to be over soon. Like if he doesn't just get his confidence back and grind to get it back, like.
It's also a play style thing with this Minnesota team, bro. This Minnesota team, like they've been doing pretty good. They've been doing like great for their expectations as a team. But this team, if you watch them play, they are just efficient, like at what they do. They just fly, bro, and they fly together. And that's why they're always in these maps and always in these series. Even if they start slow, they can just just start coming back into a map because they play at the same pace all the time, regardless if they are like losing.
Yeah, that's facts. I love the way Minnesota plays. Like they do have a good pace to the map, and their teamwork's on point. Like they all look like they're on the same page when they're pushing up the map, like when they're making plays. And I feel like every player on Minnesota can make plays. All of them.
Paul's legit a meme sometimes, bro. Like, you know, like today he was just like he had a bloody nose while he was playing. Bro, that picture of him with the bloody nose still like playing encompasses how that guy plays the game. I'm not even lying. That guy does not care if he's one shot, if he's whatever the fuck he needs to do. He plays for the win no matter what. And sometimes he has good, great stats. Sometimes he doesn't have great stats, but the one thing that you can count on with Paul is he's always contributing in the damage department and just like present, if that makes sense. And he's really good at search. So that team, the way they play the game, if you can give their team mentality to like hypothetically better players, like no offense to them, like they would just be such a better team. Mm-hmm. Like, or not they would be such a better team, but like teams would improve from playing like them, if that makes sense.
Pat, what do you think about the Minnesota ROKKR? What are your thoughts on them? Are you impressed with them at all? Or do you think they've been playing well?
I think this is it for him, Tom.
You think this is their last W that they're going to get?
Yeah, I do.
Who do they play next, Ben?
Toronto.
What do you think?
Agree, Tom?
I mean, yeah, I probably have Toronto. I don't know. Minnesota's been looking. Minnesota could take Toronto. They could take Toronto. It's gonna be a good match. It'll be a good match. Sure.
I just don't think I write off. I just don't think I write off Minnesota against anyone. Like I'm not gonna like. I will probably vote Toronto just because from an expected standpoint. Again, like when it comes to Minnesota, the best way to describe them is surpassing expectations. So granted, I might like sit there and choose other teams against them sometimes. I don't think they're out of any series they play. Especially if Nero keeps playing the way he does. That guy's really good.
Biggest
Nero is insane.
You guys remember the conversation we had before the break? We were concerned that in those first four matches, the only hard point that Minnesota could win was Vault. They were like 2-0 on it or something. And they did take a protocol on this and lose a Hossie. So like, I'm just going to keep my eye on that hard point map pool. Like if they've made inroads on that, their search is good enough that they're going to stay in these series, especially against a good search team like Toronto. They have a chance because their control's not that bad. But if they still have a very shallow hardpoint map pool, it could be a problem.
You see anything in the vetoes, Ben, that caught your eye from the series? Speaking of the map pool, I think looks like Minnesota got Skyline out today. LAG took out Vault for the hard points, and then then you also have Minnesota picking Hacienda, which is cool to see because it's a new map. So I want to see Hacienda as much as possible. We still haven't seen Hacienda control, which I heard is dog shit. So we probably won't see that. That might be the new protocol. Might be. Because I feel like a lot of people are going to be banning it. We'll see. Take a look at the vetoes with the next series and see if people were banning it.
Was Red Card Hardpoint banned by any of these teams, or it might have been by LA?
Red Card Hardpoint was left over. It just didn't get picked.
They didn't get picked.
Yeah. So from a ban perspective, I feel like this ROKKR team has a pretty good map pool because I've seen them play Red Card. They obviously played a lot of Protocol here, but they played a lot of they played Vault They played Vault a lot in their last split, and these guys have a pretty decent map pool. I'm not really worried about them when it comes to map choices against any teams right now because we've seen them play a diverse map set at least prior to this split, and then right now in that one match, there's a lot of maps that we haven't seen them play much of.
The ROKKR Toronto match is just again, can Minnesota win on a map other than Protocol Vault? If they can, and their S&D, they really challenge Toronto, they have a chance. If not, they're gonna get blown over pretty quickly.
Yeah. But let's move on. Let's move on to the next series of the day. We had the Miami Heretics going up against Atlanta FaZe. This one ended in a 3-1 victory for Atlanta FaZe. First map, Miami came out swinging. FaZe could not win a gunfight. They were so stagnant throughout the map, just solo pushing. Just seemed like they were kind of confused, honestly. The first map, they seemed kind of lost in the sauce. And then as the series went on, they really picked up the pace. They had a 6-3 W in the S&D. They were able to win the overtime in control. And then they 100-point clubbed them in the Protocol hardpoint, which was good to see because that's the phase we want to see. We want to see them 100-point clubbing teams and getting rowdy and slaying out because we know how much slaying potential they have. But, obviously throughout the year, FaZe has just not been looking good. So it was a good bounce back for them to get into to a new week here, to start off the CDL Minor 1 and get themselves a W. We can scroll down here, take a look at the stat sheet. Everybody negative from Miami except for ROKKR, who was only positive 2. Then the other side, you had a 1.33 from Draza today. And a 1.29 from Simp. Simp was unreal today, too. He was crazy. The plays that he was making around the map, even the 1v4, Simp had a big 1v4 in the S&D, which, I don't know how Miami let Simp get that 1v4. That was insane. You see
the series.
It might have been a series because, as soon as he 1v4'd, it was smooth sailing from there. I mean, Miami had such a good map 1. Yeah, map 2 was going back and forth till Simp hit the 1v4, and the rest was just kind of, it was over. I mean, but since that moment, you're right. Maybe a momentum switch, Cap? You think it was a little momentum switch?
I just killed Miami's dope.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, they were smiling when they got 1v4. I don't know why they were smiling, but
they're smiling when they got one?
Yeah, they were. I think they were trying to laugh it off. I think they were trying to laugh that one off, but I would have lost full. And then you see on the other with FaZe again, MC, he's negative 63. I know even with MC, pretty low in interactions here compared to the rest of his team. And then you have a BZ with a 0.97. Are you guys worried when you see MC with low interactions?
Well, clip map 4. How much hold time do you get map 4?
Map 4, MC had 77 seconds in Hill. BZ had 103. Simp had 77. And Draza had 40. They all fried, to be fair. Though.
He had good interactions in that one. Where does it come from? Go to control.
He had an insane map 4. He had the most damage in the lobby.
Go to control. Where is the big differential? What map is driving it?
Control, he went 25 and 27, so he had less interactions there in the control.
Then the hard point I see when they got slammed is probably where it is.
That map 1 was... I
don't think his interactions were that low. I think that's kind of on par with what it is every series with this team. Being honest,
I just don't think he's been that good at this year yet. He has not been the walking 1.2, 1.3 this year, consistently. Obviously, it's pretty early, but I mean, this whole FaZe team, we've just talked about it. They've been kind of struggling a little bit, so good to see them get. It's good to see them at least have a. It was a big win.
I think the dominant hardpoint was good.
Yeah,
the dominant hardpoint was good for them. Also, it's S&D. Also, an S&D win. Granted, they've haven't been the worst, but they definitely haven't been as good at S&D as we normally think of this team. A lot of people were, saying, "Oh yeah, dude, that's what you get for getting rid of Tupac." But they got an S&D on the board as well, especially after that 1v4. They pretty much dominated the rest of it. So it's good to see them win that too. Granted, it's against Miami, and those guys can't buy a search, but they didn't lose to them. So.
What do you think?
I mean, I think
Go ahead,
sorry,
Ben.
Tom,
No,
I'm
you can
sorry.
go. You can go, Ben. Go ahead.
I think that's on Zach. I think Zach this is the series they needed from draws, especially in S&D. Like, I thought he was making a lot of plays, getting active. You can tell kind of in between rounds that he was really, kind of shot calling them. Like, when Zach's confident in search, you know how much he plays that game mode. He knows how to get the best out of like really productive players. Tyler was getting a lot of first blood. Zach had 3. Since making plays. Like, if they play that way, they're going to be able to challenge a lot of people in S&D. I just think the hard point is like feast or famine. They're either frying the fuck out of teams or they're getting cooked, and there's no like in between of them winning like a close 60 or 70 point game. So they got to figure out to get more consistency on some of these map ones that are not their picks.
I just think they gotta. I think they just gotta simplify their HPs, bro. I was saying it before, but like this game is like super simple. Like people kind of fall into this trap of like other games where it's like, yeah, you want to push out this, push out that, blah blah. Just stick together and play like tight trades around the objective. I feel like that's kind of where like the efficient, again, like the Minnesota ROKKR play style, even OpTic touches on it sometimes. Like people just don't play around the objective enough, and it feels like everyone's just trying to do like too much, and they're just.
You saw that, Chris, in the first 30 seconds when I think Draza popped was popping a bunch of kills. The kill feed was all FaZe, but the score was 20-0 Miami, like off the rip. It was like, what the hell?
People are not utilizing kills properly on this game, and I don't really know what changed because I feel like it's a lot worse this year than it has been like any other year with transitioning kills into like time in hardpoint. And I think that's like what stems a lot of Shotzi's tweets because it probably happens a lot in scrims, but you see it in matches too.
Yeah. Pat, what did you think of the series? Atlanta FaZe versus Miami. Miami get 3-1 tier. You think FaZe is on their way on the comeback, or you think it was, Miami? It was a team that they should beat and take care of business here. What do you think, Pat?
I mean, I'm not high on FaZe right now. I think that simp play got some momentum back in their favor. I mean, it's just this team is so up and down right now. But Tom, I have to change the topic really quick because I was just thinking about it, and I'm sorry to do this because I know we said we were moving on. We're in a league where the publisher is signing an exclusivity deal that doesn't even allow major content creators to have watch parties on the biggest live streaming platform in the world. We can't even watch gameplay after the fact, after the tournament is off. And we are thinking that streaming scrims is saving us?
Some people
I'm sorry. But I'm just thinking about this, and I'm like, do you understand the situation that we're in? The major content creators, organic interest that could automatically give interest to the scene. Can't even watch the games.
Yeah.
It is hidden on a YouTube live stream that nobody even knows is going on. And we're here thinking that the reason that interest is low is because the players aren't creating content. This is insane. I don't know what timeline I'm living in, but I'm sorry. This is not what is fucking happening and why it's happening. Like, there are so many odds stacked against the CDL, bro, and it has nothing to do with whether players stream scrims or not. I'm sorry. I was thinking that in my head while y'all going over the FaZe match. And I'm like, there's no way I'm letting this slide. So I had to say it. I'm sorry. We can move on now.
I think it's everything. I think everybody should be involved. We should be able to watch. I mean, I will say, Pat, some people can watch gameplay. I can't watch gameplay. But some people can. Some people don't get in trouble when they watch gameplay. But whenever I watch gameplay,
the number you got 2 creators in the world that watch party COD. You can't watch gameplay is insane.
Yeah, it's tough. But what are you gonna do? That's just the way life is. That's the way the cookie crumbles. It is what it is. But just to get back to the series, what are you guys' thoughts on Miami? I thought today ROKKR was pulling some weight. I think Real usually you have Real pop up a little bit more, but I think against top teams again, like sometimes they have a hard time slaying. They have a hard time slaying against.
Fuck the slaying. I think they're fine, bro. I think they're fine when it comes to respawn. Like I feel like they are where I expect them to be in respawn. Them boys can't buy a search, bro. That's what we got to talk about. I don't think they've won one, right? Or have they won a search?
What's their S&D record? Does anybody know?
What's their S&D record?
I don't know.
That shit's god awful, bro. They cannot.
What do you think
win
it is,
search.
Chris? What do you think it's? Why do you think they can't win a search?
I have no fucking idea, bro. I'm still remembering those S&D Skyline setups that they had when they were just getting clutched on left and right a couple weeks or like
the
last
1-7.
Yeah, those guys, bro. We can't talk about their slaying against this and bro. They're a 1-7. They could, if they win that, if they could win a search, maybe they're up 2-0 in this series. Then we're having a different conversation right now. You know what I'm saying?
I don't get 1v4.
They're 1-7.
Yeah, the 1v4
bro.
is insane. The 1v4 is so weird too because they both died trophied and Chris hit the Kobe, and then at the last second, there's like 12 seconds left. Metal sees Simp run into vault, and for some reason, he just wide swing. He just wide swings around the car, and I don't know. I don't know what happened there. I don't know if it was like a miscomm or something, or somebody said something to him. But that 1v4, like Simp, like literally broke him down. But I would probably say that was the biggest swing of the day, the 1v4, especially in a situation where the bomb was down B. I mean, that should be unwinnable.
They basically went from getting 1v4 to pretty much not winning a single round after that to losing their undefeated map to just getting a 100-point club. Like that was a cascading just collapse of just getting smoked.
Who do they play next, Ben? Whose FaZe got? They got Thieves, right? Thieves tomorrow?
Yeah, Thieves tomorrow. So that should be a fun one. They've already played
It's gonna be a big one.
a couple times this year. Thieves are 3-0 record against them if they include the case online. But the last time they played online, they won game 5. So we'll see. We'll see if we get that.
Yeah, we're gonna take a look at the bracket after we just get a quick recap of all the matches, but we'll do some predictions at the end of the show. But Atlanta FaZe get the W over Miami. Miami was eliminated. It is a single elimination. Just to remind you guys, it's a single elimination tournament. So if you lose, you're done. You're out. So FaZe they knock out Miami. We move on to the next series. We got OpTic Texas going up against the Vegas Falcons. This one ended up being a 3-0 victory for OpTic Texas. I will say, though, it was a great series. I mean, up until the last map where OpTic kind of just bullied them, 3-0'd them in the control and 3-0'd them in the series. The first 2 maps were great. I mean, they were nail-biters. I know there's some roster changes that came in. We'll scroll down and take a look here at the stat sheet for the Falcons. Everybody negative for the Falcons here except for Xnid, who, let me tell you, had an insane series today. This guy in the first map had 52 real kills. He was 52.
What was the record before that?
What happened, Pat? I didn't hear you.
How much did he beat the record by?
Like 45, I think they showed on broadcast.
Bro,
Wow,
52
right?
and 37 is fucking insane.
Wait,
That is
he had more
crazy.
kills map 1 than his teammates did in the series. I just noticed that as you pull the box score up.
That's actually insane. Oh yeah, you're right. What the fuck? That's actually crazy. That's actually nuts.
That is.
And then who was the match MVP? We had Dashy coming in. They added a Porsche, a GT3 Porsche in the back.
That's good. That's a good screenshot.
Shout out to Breaking Point. They're doing a phenomenal job. But Dashy MVP on the other side, you had a 1.35 from Dashy. He had almost 9,000 damage in his series. He was having a fucking day. Shotzi with a 1.28. He continues to shine and talking shit. Shotzi's on a rampage right now. This guy's going nuts. I love it. Then we got Hook 56 and 54. We got a 1.04. Only one negative was Kenny today. Kenny looked like he was going through today. He might be sick.
Nah, he said he was just getting annoyed with like the timings and like
I thought he
like
was
the way
sick.
that they were playing, the way like his team, like the way the team was playing and the way their team was playing. Like he just felt awkward. He just was getting frustrated with himself.
Mm-hmm.
Is what he was tweeting. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna cook Falcons.
First
too much
map,
in
I
terms
think
of their play
Falcons
style.
I think the map was winnable. No, Chris, the first map.
Yeah,
for
yeah.
Falcons?
First map was definitely fucking more than winnable. I feel like they kind of like were throwing it away a lot of the times, but I'm not going to cook them too
They're
bad
blowing rotations. Yeah,
they did. They do have 2 new players, but Xnid and I mean I said it before. The Falcons guys can definitely shoot. Those guys, yeah, they got the gunny. They just they black out a lot of the time, and I feel like this team is kind of missing Kicks, man, because Kicks was like that guy for them. Yeah. And if Xnid is, obviously it's one match, but it is against OpTic. If he's starting to step up and play really well, like and Kicks keeps up what they're doing, like they might actually have some potential to take some maps. But
before anybody moves on,
back soon?
Somebody in the chat said dropping Kicks is crazy. I just want to iterate. Kicks had personal reasons where he had to step away and go. Yeah. They did not drop him from the team.
But they didn't say how long it would be, right?
No.
Yeah, it's unknown.
No, they didn't say. And I don't know much about Doom and WXSL. I don't know how to say his name.
I think.
Wixel. So,
Wixel?
We have Wixel and Doom.
Chance, I think. So one of them.
Do you guys know anything about these guys? Wixel and Doom? I've heard good things about them, but I don't know. I don't know much.
Watching today, though, they looked really slow on the map. As Xnid was dropping 52, there was situations where they were just not moving. I was in here watching that with you guys, Ben and Tom, and then it was like that P3 on Vault where like Xnid was like popping pieces in that mid connector doorway. And they're just like standing still mid map. They're just like not in the hill. I don't know.
Just
This
not
first
they,
match, I don't wanna-
I was gonna say,
they
first
need to
match
be
is
better off their
OpTic.
kills. They need to be better off their
Yeah,
kills.
because
They make
OpTic
use
is
of their
tough.
kills.
Across too harsh, but that's to me like being too slow is not a thing that just gets fixed. If you're too slow, that's usually a problem that lasts.
Wait, is anyone
It's like a
wondering
play
why
style.
their payments are getting cut? I'm curious about that.
Because the esports just
Yeah.
dying,
I've
bro.
never
I don't
wondered
really
why. I think
agree.
we
I
all
don't-
know why.
Hold on,
it's
be-
happening.
I don't agree with
before
this
we move
free
on,
man.
hold on, hold on.
This free
Before-
man is
Doing
just not
anything is changing their
Before we
payments,
move
I
on, let me
promise
just
you.
explain what's on.
Oliver,
Hold
this is
on,
not
Ben.
a
Hold on,
tweet.
Ben. Hold on. Let me just explain.
Yeah.
We got audio listeners. All right, Shotzi came out and he tweeted, "Players getting payment cuts every year and wonder why. Fucking clowns. Most of y'all guys don't do shit besides collect the check." And he said, "Go fuck yourself." I'm just kidding. He didn't say that, but he should have said that. It would have been great.
I'll
Go
say
ahead, Ben.
this, like,
That's basically go fuck.
How old is Ant, by the way?
It's basically go fuck yourself, Cap. Basically.
Yeah, basically.
I want to like, there is the OpTic organization exists in sort of a different box than a lot of other esports organizations because of the size of their audience, because of how many views they get, and then their ability then to really do a very good job. You've seen with their sponsors like generate a lot of income for everybody through that path. A lot of orgs don't really have that. So I don't really agree with this free from Ant because like a lot of other players, yeah, they can stream, they can YouTube, but they're not going to get all these
Bro,
brand deals and other opportunities.
he's not only talking about that, bro. He's talking about everything.
That's what
bro.
drives that's driving
Bro,
salaries
bro.
though.
But
'cause-
all
yeah,
you
but
need to know, listen,
he's
all you
not-
need to know, guys, before you go, Chris, there hasn't been an H series in weeks,
Yes,
months. Okay,
yes.
there you go. Forget the streams, forget all that other shit.
I
Where's
agree,
the
but that
A's?
has
Where's the
nothing
late
to
night
do with
tournaments?
Ant Tweet. That has nothing to do with Ant Tweet.
Wait, yes,
Didn't
100% has
It
something to do with
has
Ant's
everything
tweet.
to do with it.
Wait,
What do you
didn't
mean it has
OpTic's
something to do with his
salary get
tweet?
lowered? Didn't OpTic's salary get lowered too? Is that not
Yeah,
what I
yes, but that's why I'm saying like yes, players should be playing more eights. No shit. But like payment cuts are not because players are not playing fucking eights. That is not the reason. There are more macroeconomic conditions within esports that are causing that.
If you can't tell that Shotzi's just
It's
rage
not just
tweeting,
esports.
Well, 100%,
Wait, hold on,
100% is rage
if you
tweeting.
can't tell that Shotzi's just rage tweeting and he's not like looking into every fucking semantic of what he's tweeting and why
I
it's
think
happening,
it's XQC now, bro. Like what the fuck is this?
It's
come
great.
on, let's
I love
be real
it.
here. But
It
he's
exactly goes back to what I was saying. He's just making shit up. I don't know why we're acting like he's not. Like this guy is.
no.
He's
not
No,
farming.
I disagree.
Yeah, he's
No,
literally farming, and we're sitting
Shotzi
here
is
acting
right. No,
No,
what
no,
Shotzi is
no,
saying is
not
right.
every-
Invoice, Tom. I'm saying
not
he's got a fucking
everything-
invoice.
Not everything that he
Nah,
is
what
saying
Shotzi's
is
saying is
directly
right.
a correlation of each other, but to a degree, a lot of the things that he's saying, they're all connected in certain ways.
100%.
He's basically, regardless, you can take away the fact that he's talking about payment cuts and just say the players are not doing enough, bro. These people can sit there and say they care about their jobs and they care about winning and they care about doing this shit, but they're doing the bare minimum,
That's
bro.
facts.
None of them are
That's facts.
like it's a fucking fact, bro.
All I'll say
Come
is this is the
on.
only like org I know in COD where like, bro, when these players go to events, they get picked up by a nice van, they stay at 5-star hotels. They exist in a different box from everybody else. So I agree with what Ant's saying. I don't really agree with the
Bro,
tweet.
let's,
or what he's
also,
saying here.
let's also not pretend like it's not just the players that are doing the bare minimum either. It's the orgs are doing the bare minimum. The league is doing the bare minimum. Like let's
To a
not
degree,
sit here
you
and
can-
pretend, bro. Like everybody is a product.
That's why I
of
said
their
it's
environment,
everything,
bro.
Pat.
It's
It's
like,
everybody.
At the same
It's
time,
everything.
like,
that's what I said.
It's literally
Interest is at an
everything.
all-time low. The scene is at an all-time
You gotta
low.
but that's the
nothing
thing.
to do
though,
What
you
Shotzi's
can't-
saying is
you
not
can't,
wrong.
You can't use that as an excuse to not do your part. Like at the end of the day, like you got to do your part and you got to try like your best. Like if you're gonna sit there and be like, "Whoa, the fucking woe is me," you know, all
Shotzi's
this shit
still going.
sucks, all this stuff sucks. I'm just not even gonna try. I'm just gonna do the bare minimum. Like come on, bro. Like,
Shotzi
you
back in the
gotta try.
timeline yet again. Shotzi back in the, I mean, this guy's just popping
He's
them off.
listening, bro.
Shotzi goes, eights don't help this and that. S&D won me champs in every tournament I have ever won. Another excuse of not playing a game. Lazy fucks. Absolutely. Listen, I don't think he's wrong.
Eights
I don't
definitely
think he's
help
wrong.
you get better.
Bro,
More
the
reps, just playing the game in general helps you get better.
100%.
Period. I
Bro,
don't know why
people-
people don't play the game. Nobody plays the fucking game anymore.
Bro, people cared. I wouldn't say everyone, but there's a lot of people that probably cared more about the COD and the esport and all that stuff when we were making way less back in the day.
I don't know
pure
how
passion.
many flank episodes we've talked about this, bro. There's no passion involved anymore in Call of Duty competitive.
Not true. The Falcons got passion. They do, Pat. The Falcons got lots of passion.
I thought you said the Stallions at first, so I thought you were.
Nah,
trolling.
the Falcons
But-
got lots of
A lot of
passion.
people are just, a lot of people do
but-
feel like they're just
but look at
coasting.
but look at the scene they came from. So
And
it
the
makes
Stallions.
sense, right? That the scene they came from is what we played in 10 years ago. You know what I mean? It was like they haven't had the opportunity, but everyone else involved is that like that's the one problem I have with the league now is like if you're an aspiring like back in the day, and this goes for most people like that came up in the COD CWL era, I guess too. You were always on an upward trajectory of the league. Prize money was always going up. Salaries was always going up.
There's another one.
So you were grinding for what was going to be better. But right now, what players are grinding for is the bottom of the barrel. Like that's the issue that I have is like it's hard to have the same passion and motivation we had years ago when the opportunity isn't the same. That's the problem.
I mean, it's go ahead.
Shotzi with another tweet. He said, "Gonna chill now, but yo, at most CDL pros, put the fries in a bag in a couple years. Thank you." With a salute emoji. This guy's on a rampage. This guy's on a fucking rampage, man. Go ahead, man. What are you gonna say?
Yeah, you talk about Ant's crash outs. I have to say this because it's been bothering me. He's made a lot of good points in his recent tweets, crash outs. His take about pros not owning houses was brain dead.
That was insane. That was insane.
I have to address that.
Wait, what did he tweet? Wait, what did he say?
On stream, he's like, dude, there's
one state and then moved next team you're on.
Yeah.
You just have a house there.
He's like, dude, there's pros who don't even own one house. He's like, that's embarrassing. Like, bro, a lot of pros are like moving. Like the pros have been in the league, like they've been moving every year. Like, bro, I don't make the same money you do, Ant. Like,
yeah, that's He's
like,
he said they don't own a house. I didn't see that.
Saying, big fan of Ant. That was brain dead.
Yo, real estate's very expensive these days. Real estate's no joke these days, man. I didn't even see him say that, but clearly he's just rage tweeting. He's just pissed.
He's just raging. Like I said,
he's
not fully thinking his tweets through.
Yeah,
but to a degree,
he's
like
just tweeting and just going crazy.
To a degree, if you look at like the point he's trying to make and not necessarily how he got there, a lot of it's true.
I mean, Shotzi put in the time, bro. He put in the time. Like he grinded, he put in the work. But before we move on, who does Falcons are done, right? They're eliminated. They're out.
Yes.
All right, bet. Any other final thoughts? Any other? Because OpTic. Wait, who does OpTic play again tomorrow? Boston, right?
They play Boston. I think OpTic played like B level COD today. I mean, I think Ken Sweet kind of put it best. Maybe a little bit. It just sort of he tweeted he felt like the pace was a little bit weird today, just very fast. I guess maybe I don't know. But they play Boston, and Boston obviously, if you remember before the break, like their S&D was very good, and they have some interesting map pool challenges that will I think potentially force OpTic to have to get red card maybe out of the series. So if Boston have some pretty good skills on like a Hossie or point, for example, which might make it in this series if it doesn't get banned, like could be an interesting series, but I expect OpTic to win.
I just wanted to mention one last thing because like we're sitting here talking about Analog. Granted, he's crashing out and he's just been playing really well and stuff like that. Like I want to give some love to Dashy because he's sneakily like what we haven't been talking about him, but he's sneakily been like one of the best like ARs like this entire year so far. Like he's putting up like insane stats every single series and playing really good COD. Like you can just tell like he's feeling himself on this game.
Bro, he's been grinding. He's on every day, even during this break. Because I was live and like, bro, me and Zinni were talking about it because me and Zinni like to cast the eights. Like we like to cast them and like get involved in them. Like we loved eights. Like we loved casting pro eights. They're not.
Bro, Brandon,
they don't happen anymore. Go ahead.
Brandon be turning on his stream at Goggins hours, bro. He's like waking up at like 4 a.m., like turning his stream on, like just like playing ranked. I mean, granted, it's not like
at 4 a.m. or is he?
Well, I don't know if he's waking up, but he's getting on and starting his stream at like 4 a.m. till like late. Like he's like, I mean, like he's grinding at like odd hours and he's just putting the time in. He's a psycho, bro.
Of all time.
He's definitely, bro.
Yep. All right, let's move on. Go ahead, Cap.
Yeah, go ahead. Falcons. I just want to say, I said it before, I don't want to judge Doom and Wixel too quickly. But if they can't find like other Audi players who like can hang with Xnid, I pray that they drop the region gimmick and actually pick up players because Xnid so far is looking like he can hang with anyone.
Yeah, that guy's good.
He looks like he's probably he can hang with anyone.
And so is Kix, especially if Kix comes back. Cap, you got Kix and Xnid.
All right, map one, not necessarily not so much, but he looks all right. But I'm just saying like. If it ends up where like he can hang but the others can't, I don't know if that is the case, but if it is, I pray they don't just stick to that roster. I hope they bring in whether it's NA challengers, EU challenge, but they make some kind of moves to actually compete.
Yeah, I agree. I said that today during the watch party too. Like, it is their first series ever.
On
the
that's
big stage. So I mean,
just getting it out while I'm here.
And they have a tough. They're playing a tough team. For the first series ever, right? Like they're coming in. I've actually heard really good things about Wixel and Doom. Like people have been telling me good things, but I mean, obviously today, I felt like they didn't really get the showcase.
Their turn. So
yeah, Dan Ghosty's gassing them.
Maybe we're judging too harsh of one. I'm judging too harsh of one series. But
yeah, I mean it is one series, but
we'll see.
Let's move on. Last series of the day, and then we'll take a look at the bracket and see the matches, what's coming up here. But we got Vancouver Surge going up against Cloud9. This one was a 3-0 victory for Cloud9. I mean, this was a masterclass from Cloud9. They win by 100 points in a hard point. They win 3-1 in the control. Only close map was the S&D, the map 2, which went all the way down to around 11, where Kremp was able to find a big 3-piece on a retake. Great place from Kremp. Kremp in the interview after the match, he said he was just running it down. He was just running at him. He said they just find him and just run him down. And I mean, that's Cap. I know you coach Kremp. That's kind of like how he likes to play, right? It's kind of like his play style. He likes to chow.
Yeah, he was running it down.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh, man, we got a red carpet. First red carpet of the day. Vancouver Surge, a .76 from 04, a .72 from Nasty, a .94 from Hixie, a .90 from Abuza. I know I said this a lot already on the show, but I'll say it again because it's so true. These guys can't get kills either. These guys can't get kills, bro. In Respawn, Abuza last year was that guy. Abuza was like a top slayer last year. I don't know if it was because, Chris, you had made a comment. Hook was on the team last year. He's the ultra baiter, made everything easier.
Yeah, but also like the way Hook rallied his team to play like a certain way, and I feel like maybe that like helped him, but it's also just a different game, different roster. Who the fuck knows? I mean, this team is just struggling, bro. Playing simple.
Then on the other side, you had a 1.20 from Attach, a 1.25 from Kremp, a 1.34 from Mac. Mac has been unreal for these guys. He continues to be that guy for them. And then you had a 0.98 from Dante, who in my opinion is still starting a little slow, man. I mean, you know how good Dante is. You know what he brings to the table. Granted, like everybody was getting so many kills today, so not everybody is going to be able to just top frag. But
yeah, the low
at the end of the day, I think Dante.
Yeah.
I think Dante's newest test, obviously C9's getting wins on the board now, right? You're starting to see what Matt can do. Kremp's doing his thing, Attach is doing his thing. I think Sib's test is going to be when his teammates are not playing at this level, and he needs to step up. And if we can see him do that, then great. We know Sib is there. But if let's say his team isn't playing the best and he continues to underperform, then we'll kind of just start to feel out where Sib is really at nowadays. But overall, I mean, it's a good win for C9. And I was going to say on the Seattle front, I was talking about it before the season started. My question for the Seattle team was going to be if Hixie can contribute and get kills, but I think he's probably been their most consistent player, even when they're getting shit on. That's kind of a surprise to me. So I don't know what's going on with this C9. Or not C9, sorry, Seattle roster. Seattle, Vancouver, god damn it. I hate this name change.
I think, listen, we talked about, this year we thought with Vancouver that 04 needed to really step up and be more consistent at Respawn if we wanted to see them really like do something this year. And that was us assuming that Abuza would still drop like the numbers he was dropping. But I think neither of those things are happening. And to your point, like Charlie kind of having some good stuff. They are competitive in these series, but at the same time, like beyond map 1, you get to the middle of map 2, like they just aren't. I don't really see it for this Vancouver team. This looks like another year.
And they weren't that competitive in this series.
Yeah, it looks like another year for me where like the first quarter of the year is just a toss away and they'll make a roster change and we'll see what happens. But I don't know what you do about this Abuza thing. They need him to lock in and start being the playmaker he was last year.
Yeah, it doesn't all rely on Abuza, but you know what his potential is. You know what he brings to the table. He just has to step up. He's definitely has. I mean, they all got to step up, but Abuza's that guy for them. Like, this is their superstar player. Like, he needs to step up and start just fragging out, especially in the role that he's in. And even 04, in the respawns especially, I think 04, he needs to. I feel like last year, like it was his first year, and he was kind of like an S&D guy. And you saw him getting more and more comfortable in Respawn. But now when I watch Vancouver play, they all kind of look uncomfortable to me. Like, they look like they can't get in like a flow state. And I don't know if it's because they're not on the same page or they're just not seeing eye to eye when it comes to certain shit. Like I can't pinpoint exactly what it is. But they're definitely struggling right now, for sure. Like they're struggling and getting kills. Like every time I watch these guys play, I'm like, dude, what is going on? Like, in Cloud9 on the other side, what's their overall record right now, Ben? Cloud9. Because they started slow, did they not?
I think they were like
over matches.
Weren't they like 1 and 2, 1 and 3,
They're
1 and 2?
They're 1 and 3 in the league, and now they've got a second one on the board.
Yeah,
but they
2 and 3 now.
They have a they're gonna play LAG, Miami, and FaZe to close out like the online side of this, and they probably need to win out. I think for C9 now, this match against a Carolina team could be very massive for them momentum wise. If they can find a way to do that, and then suddenly you're now probably playing OpTic in semis, and like you could in the span of a couple of days really turn around this team. But I think in order to do that, to your guys' earlier point, like I think Dante is going to need to step up and probably be impactful at some point along the line here this weekend.
I mean, I think the Cloud9 team, Dante hasn't been great, but I think Crimp and Mac have been frying.
Yeah, they have been.
Like, as long as they're playing that well, like, not all 4 players are going to do well.
Mhm.
Like I guess, like you said, Ben, if one of them does have a bad series, I'll be curious to see how Dante plays then. Like, if he does step up, but I can't fault Dante for like anything today. Like, your
Yeah, I mean, they got a 3-0. They got a 3-0 today, so.
Yeah, your teammates are finding that hard. Like, it's just sometimes going to be like that.
Can I tip Dante though about one thing? He was excellent in the S&D today, which is something that I've been waiting to see from him this season. So if he keeps it going, I know it's a Skyline. Skyline plays like, kind of crazy, but like I think he dropped double digits that map. Like if he plays that way in S&D, especially against Carolina, who's a good search team, you get past Carolina, they have to play like an OpTic or a Boston, who are good search teams. Like that is a good sign for a C9 team that tossed away that first week of the league.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, Pat, you got any thoughts on the series? Any final thoughts before we move on and take a look at the bracket headed into tomorrow?
I mean, I got Mac in fantasy, Tom, so I'm happy.
Yeah, Mac's been a great fan. My fantasy, I think I'm literally down like 11-0 to Kason's team right now because I have Draza and Real and Priesta, so that's not looking good for me at all.
But again,
first bloods.
Reiterating on Vancouver though, I feel like this is going to get annoying because we literally called this out in the offseason, like how this team is going to play and they're going to have a lack of kills. I don't think, I think Abuza is super talented and is the superstar, but like you're only as good as your supporting cast. Like we all know this in COD. It's the same thing every time. So in my opinion, I just don't think this team needs to make a change ASAP. We knew this team wasn't going to have the slaying power needed when they made the team. Seen it. I don't know how much longer we're going to be.
Pat, can you see anybody making a change before Major 1?
Bro, I've said this so many times.
I know you're gonna say they wait too long and they
why not make it right away? You're losing every day you wait, you lose an opportunity, bro. We can see like people aren't gonna just drastically improve overnight with what they got. Like I don't know.
Who are the best challenger players right now?
I mean, it was Hook. He's gone. So
the Stallions.
Like, bro, now it's like I'm not even gonna lie, bro. Outside of the Stallions, it's all former players. Like former pros, literally every single one.
Duarte, what do you think about the Stallions, Duarte?
I think they go to too many map 5s, Tom. They gotta reel it in. But they've been icy.
They've been icy.
I personally listen. All of them have been pretty good, but I'm a big Lurks fan. That guy is fucking turned.
Lurks is disgusting. Even
that guy is.
Even Simp was gassing up Lurks. They're all disgusting. To be fair, that whole team is gross. Like that whole team can pop a piece at any time. Can pop pieces. Like that whole team can slay. But yeah, what about Pred? What about AG? You see AG coming back in?
The AG situation to me is very simple. He's gonna get interviewed. If the team is interested in picking him up, and he's got to explain the situation and explain what he's done to address that and what's going to happen going forward. And if they like the answer, yeah, he's talented enough to get back in, no doubt.
What about Illy? Illy's another one who's been and Illy's look good. I've been watching Illy.
Pretty good.
Illy's another one who's been having the streams on. He's been grinding. He's been having the streams on, grinding, playing chows.
Inder brings passion to the comms, bro.
I think every time I watch him,
that shit's fucking awesome.
He's hyped, bro. I mean, I love the energy he brings. I mean, Inder's another one. Like, if you're looking for passion, Inder's a great person to pick up. But let's take a look at the matches tomorrow. Let's see what we got going on. I'm going to pull it up for you guys. Looks like we got some bangers here. So let's switch it over and take a look here. Start things off. I don't know who plays first, but we'll go from top to bottom. Is it from top to bottom, Ben, on a bracket, the matches? Is that?
I think it bounces around.
Bounces around. All right, well, we'll just start at the top. We got Carolina Royal Ravens going up against Cloud9. We have the Boston Breach going up against OpTic Texas. We have LA Thieves going up against Atlanta FaZe. And we have Toronto Ultra going up against the Minnesota ROKKR. So obviously 4 teams here got buys. They got buys based on their seeds. And Cloud9 in the second round is going to go against Carolina here. What do you guys got? You guys got Carolina in this one? I mean, I feel like in terms of my opinion, I feel like Carolina is definitely, in terms of fundamentals and playing the game the right way, like Carolina's been pretty smooth sailing. Like they've looked really good. And I expect them to keep that gas pedal down throughout the year. Like they're a good team. I don't think they're going to let off. Like I think they're going to keep adapting, keep learning, especially knowing like some of the guys on that team. Like I'm sure they're having very productive practices. So I'm personally going to go with Carolina in this one. But what about you, Pat? Who you got?
I got Carolina for sure.
You got Carolina? What about
Are we
you?
doing all of them or just the one?
Nah, let's just do the one and we'll go down. What about you, Chris?
I'm gonna go with Carolina. I think Austin runs a tight ship, so I hope that they can keep up their momentum. But I'm just gonna keep going with the Carolina train until they falter, because right now it's kind of hard. It's kind of hard to want to vote against them.
Wait, Austin. Speaking of Austin, also, have you bought a house yet?
Nah, he's broke.
Ah,
Him and
so
Natasha
deep,
talking
bro.
about the chat. They're both broke.
Oh, shit. Cap, what about
Hey.
you?
I don't have a house either, Tom. Thanks.
Word on the street, Cap has 5 houses.
I meant the fucking match, Cap.
I don't know. I think this is the closest one. I think there's like a 50-50, honestly. I think because everyone's picking Carolina, I'll pick Cloud9, but I really do think this is the closest one for me of all the series, and I think it's a toss-up.
So you got Carolina? What about you, Benjay?
No, I'll take Cloud9, I said.
Oh, you said Cloud9? Oh, my bad. What about you, Benjay?
I agree with Cap because, now seeing the evidence on C9, there's some interesting map pool things that could potentially happen tomorrow, like a Skyline Hardpoint square up. I think could really go the way of Cloud9. I think though it'll go game 5, and I think Carolina will clutch.
All right, and then let's move on to the next one. OpTic Texas going up against Boston Breeze. This is an interesting one because I think on paper, OpTic's obviously the better team in my opinion. But the way Boston has come out this year and the way that they play, I love Boston's play style. I like how they play the game. But I do think OpTic's going to come out and get the better of them tomorrow. I don't know what it is. I'm just kind of just going based on feeling here. I don't really have a reason why. I think OpTic's going to get W tomorrow. But I'm excited for this one because I think this is going to be a really good match. Boston has looked really good this year. So I think it's going to be a grueler. What about you, Pat?
I got Boston 3-1.
Why, Pat? Why?
I just think Boston have been the better team so far. My personal opinion.
You think Boston's been a better team? Their teamwork has been unreal. I really like the Snoopy and Purge dynamic right now. I like how they're playing off each other. What about you, Duarte?
I'm gonna go with OpTic. I think Boston caught OpTic off guard the first week. They got those red cards in, and no one knew anybody's map pool and stuff like that. So I think if OpTic decides to not play them on those maps, you're gonna probably get Haciendas in tomorrow, and we have no idea who's gonna be good at that hard point, for example. I don't know. Maybe I'm just talking out of my ass. But anyways, I'm gonna go with OpTic. I just feel like Boston's not gonna catch them by surprise. Although I think it'll be a good series. The scary thing for OpTic's going to be, again, the S&D, because Boston's pretty damn good at search.
Mm-hmm. Cap?
OpTic. Like Chris said, I think Boston kind of came out that first series, upset them. I think OpTic's better now. I think they're going to come out and just do
Take care of business.
I don't think they're gonna get caught slipping again.
Mm-hmm. What about you, Ben? Where are you leaning?
I have OpTic 3-1, but I will not be surprised if Boston wins a game 5 and takes 2 searches in the series. OpTic's got a couple of nice S&D wins, but they've had some S&D wins where I've thought that they've kind of gotten away with playing pretty sloppy. And I just think against Boston, they may not be able to do that. But Boston's also going to have to win 1, maybe 2 respawns in this. I just don't see it.
All right, then we got LA Thieves going up against Atlanta FaZe. This one, I got to go with Thieves in this one just for the pure fact. I just think they're on point right now. I think a lot of people have them probably up there as the best team in the game right now. As far as what we saw early in the year, LA Thieves looked just incredible, bro. So, and I know they got the better of FaZe last time they played, but it did go all the way down to a last map. I remember me and Kayson were here screaming. So I can see it being a good series because I think FaZe is going to play up. I think when they play better teams, it forces them to just kind of wake up and play better. But I just think overall, so far throughout the year, Thieves have obviously looked like the stronger team. So I'm going to go with Thieves. But what do you think, Cap?
I got Thieves. I think a lot of people are really high on Thieves in this matchup. I think it's going to be close. I don't think FaZe is going to
It was close the first time they played.
Yeah, they've looked shaky though. I'm saying I think people think they're just going to roll over and die. I think that's delusional. This team, they're too good of players. But at the end of the day, I think Thieves has just been the number 1 team so far, and until I see them lose, I think they're just the favorites in every series.
Mm-hmm. Pat?
I got Thieves for sure. Also, real quick, I had a question. How are they doing third place? Is it just a 1 match loser semi basically?
No, it's third, fourth, get 10.
Oh, okay. So is that just?
So it's basically top 4 get points.
So the graphic looked weird in that. It just looked like third. I was confused.
So all
Yeah, I
the
don't know
prize,
what's
so
up with
prize
that.
only goes to first place. Nobody else makes money.
Correct.
Cool. I kind of fuck with that. Kind of like that. 20K is not bad for a minor tournament. Chris, who do you got?
I got Thieves just because, again, I'm on that bandwagon. I think they're a really good team, and I like the dynamic. I like the players on the team. I hope they do well. But I will say that I think this is going to be a close one, and I'm interested to see what the Thieves do now that like Rewind's not in the rotation, because that was a strong map for them. They did play quite a bit. They were very vocal about it getting removed, blah, blah, blah. So we'll see how they've adjusted to the map pool and what they favor to play and how that affects the match. But until they show me otherwise, I'm gonna pick Thieves to keep on winning.
All right, Ben.
I have Thieves 3-1. This goes for game 5. I actually think FaZe got a real chance, but I think Thieves probably just been better respawn. And yeah, I think this looks like the FaZe Toronto series from the beginning of December.
Cap, you went, right? You said Thieves. Then we got Toronto Ultra going up against the Minnesota ROKKR. I'm going to go with Toronto in this one. I think Kleenex had an insane first couple weeks. Same with Joe Deceives, like the way that they play off each other, just the pace that they're playing at right now. And all of them, honestly, even Beans and Insight, like they've all looked really good to me. And then they also seem pretty icy. Like I feel like they're really good in the clutch. Like I feel like they're a good team and they're kind of meshing with each other right now. Minnesota's obviously another good team, but Minnesota's they've looked sketchy at times. Chris, would you agree with me that sometimes ROKKR's looked a little, even today, they started off a little slow today, Minnesota ROKKR.
Yeah, I mean they've been getting wins on the board, but like I don't like go into the series like super confident that they're gonna like perform. It's just what like I'm just a fan of this team because I feel like they've had entertaining series and I know I can count on them to not like really just bend over and die. Like I mean they put up a fight. So
okay, I'm gonna go with Toronto Ultra. I'm gonna go with Toronto in this one. Pat, who do you got?
Toronto for sure. I said it earlier. I think ROKKR's done. Toronto, I think, is just a better team. So,
Chris,
Ultra.
I want to say Toronto just because I feel like they are the better team, but I'm gonna give them some variety here. I'm gonna go with Minnesota.
Okay, Jkap.
I got Toronto. I think they've looked just really good all around, playing well together. Minnesota, they win Minnesota wins a lot of gritty matches against even teams.
Like
I think
mid-pack teams, like mid-pack lower tier teams.
Yeah.
What about you,
I think
Benjay?
Toronto.
Benjay?
I feel like it should be a Toronto 3-0, but why do I feel like Minnesota are going to win this? Am I crazy for saying that?
No, I don't think that's crazy. Minnesota have looked good. I don't think it's look good.
I pick chalk all the way. I'll pick one upset Minnesota game 5.
All right, Benjay, why don't you sing us out? We'll do a breaking point fantasy update somewhere throughout the weekend, but after taking a look at it, a lot of teams didn't have some of their players playing stuff, so the stats are kind of all over the place right now. So we'll take a look at that later on. But we got some great matches tomorrow. Super excited to get into it. Benjay, why don't you sync us out with a pop? Benjay, why don't you sync us out? We'll take a look here at the channel point predictions. Right now, Ben, you got 8 million channel points on you making it, and you got 4 million on you not making it.
Well, I haven't hit a putt on this mat in like a week. So
oh, Jesus Christ. Oh, Lord.
Not the pre-excuse.
Who knows what happened?
Cap, you're our special guest. What do you think he's doing here, Cap?
I hope he misses because it's funny.
Also, shout out to Octane. Octane is away, guys. He's away for a week, so Octane probably won't be on the shows this weekend, but we will have Jkap who will be joining us, and I know you guys love Cap. Cap, every time you come on the shows, the comments say love you, Cap.
Yeah, I don't know if I can do every night.
That's fine. We'll maybe with that nub or somebody. We'll find somebody.
We'll see that.
Yeah, if not, we'll see. But shout out to Cap last second for coming on.
Where is Sam?
I think he's at Harry Potter World.
What the fuck is that? Oh, you mean Disney World?
I don't know. I don't know. He tweeted out that he's at Harry Potter Land or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know where
that
at.
shit is.
Yeah, I don't know where that is. I don't know. Oh, they're in Orlando. He's in Orlando. Oh, that's fire. Benjay stepping up to the plate. He's got his stinky fucking slippers on. See what Benjay can do here is, hey, six the ball.
It's so icy.
So fucking icy out of Benjay. Look at this guy. What a legend.
I see.
Get a win spam in the chat. A lot of people just doubled up on their channel points. What a pleasure. It was 12 million on you making that there, Ben. And a lot of people voted on no. And it shot all the way up to 9 million on you missing it. So a lot of people just lost some points, man. You guys are losing your points, man. Fuck.
Oh my God, Jack Sawyer's ran back to us. Anyway, the outro.
Guys, we'll be back tomorrow. I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode of The Flank. Huge shout out to Jkap yet again for joining up last second. Guys, if you're in the California area, please be safe. I had to evacuate the other day. It was a big fire right next to me. So just be safe if you're in the area. Huge shout out to all the firefighters, all the first responders that have been on the scene running towards the fire, man. It's been crazy out here, man. It's looking like a war zone outside. California area was kind of crazy. Yeah, if you're in California, just be safe. Keep your eyes peeled. You know what I mean? And just be safe, guys. But thank you so much for tuning in today. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. If you're watching on YouTube, go to anchor.fm/theflank to check out all the audio sites are on. Go follow @theflank on Twitter. Gert's doing a phenomenal job running socials per usual. And of course, ZooMaa.gg. We're gonna get some new merch up there for you guys. I think we got the FC Black, the Stallions jerseys up there right now. If you guys want to cop that. But we got some new designs cooking up for you guys, so expect a new drop here soon. But as always, guys, take care, brush your hair, and I'll see you guys tomorrow in another episode of The Flank, man. Take it easy, slowly.